name's ViralSun. Today I'm going to be doing a video teaching you how to build my Overworld gold farm. Now, if you're anything like me, you might play on a server that has lots and lots of different players on it, all taking up that pesky mob cap and slowing down your gold spawns. Now, up on the nether roof, people like to build all sorts of types of gold farms, but they mostly the same sort of design. Such as this one, it's a circle, or this one, it's a square. But they all rely on the mob cap being free. So if Jeff overhears at his mob farm and Tim overhears at his, then both of them are cutting into each other's spawning rates, and that's no good. Now, when you've got 30 or 40 people on the same server, it's terrible! And that's what brings us here to the giant obsidian piginated T47 with built-in fax modem. Now, what we're doing here is we're making use of 6 lines of code in the... Hello, Mr. Iron Golem, what are you doing down there? No. What we're doing here is we're making use of 6 lines of code that dictate that zombie pigmen can spawn out of nether portals. Now, you may have noticed when you're in your base that sometimes zombie pigmen have just wandered out of your portal, which is very rude. But that's not because there's a zombie pigman walking through the portal from the other side. In fact, the portal on the other side is completely irrelevant. What's actually happening is the game is checking every single tick whether it can spawn a zombie pigman from your portal. Now, each block of the portal checks once every game tick with a very small chance to spawn one. But because we've built 23 by 23 size portals, that is a whopping 529 times the chance that that piglin's going to spawn. And each of these portals goes back 16, which means there's 16 times 23 times 23 portal blocks in just one small chunk, and then we've gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We've got 10 of them! That's insane! Which means it's raining piggies! Constant pigs. I'm not recommending at... Get out my face. I'm not recommending at... Oh my god, this torch. This torch! I'm not recommending that you build one of these on your single player world. Far from it. If anything, the ones that we saw on the nether roof are far more efficient. The reason this is great for a multiplayer world where you have lots and lots and lots of players is that the mob cap never gets checked. The mobs do take up the mob cap, but when it's deciding to actually spawn one, it never bothers to check it. So here we are, we've dropped down a level just onto the top level so we can see how this farm is functioning. So, there are 23, as I mentioned before, by 23 obsidian squares, and then that goes back 16 squares. We've lit a portal side by side by side by side by side, all the way back. Now in front of that we have a row of magma cubes, and then a basic trapdoor setup, and in the middle some turtle eggs that the zombie piggies are wanting to stand on, and some lighting to stop any other mobs spawning up here. Obviously you could build this out of glass, but I quite like the little offset stuff. Now, down the sides, we have very long drops worth of trapdoors. Now, the reason being that when I first built one of these, I found that the piggies ran off, and then their angular momentum would take them onto the platform below, and they'd end up breaking the turtle eggs. So, by putting the trapdoors down there, the piglins can see through them, but they can't pass through them, which means they always fall down into this little space at the bottom. So every time one of these piggies spawns out of here, there's like a 1% chance that you're going to get a baby one riding a chicken. Now, they have a very slow falling speed, so when they do reach the bottom of the thing, they won't have taken any falling damage, and you won't be able to one-hit them. Not only that, but they somehow manage to clip through everything. It doesn't matter what you do, they just wander through it. Which means if you're trying to spend any time AFK here, you just end up with zombie piglins on chickens running around your AFK space. It's very irritating. So if we just stick this magma down, they never try to pathfind over it, it doesn't cost anything, and they just despawn after a while. And here we are in our little AFK space, and as you can see, because they've dropped down exactly 22 blocks, though some are dying now from being squished into a tiny space, they are all one-hittable. You can stand here just AFK hitting this little brick here, and you should, most of the time with Sweeping Edge, get all of them. It's a fairly constant stream and it's quite a lot of XP. And then for me, I have all of these items getting picked up by hoppers, shoved into a water stream, and then they go up here, where they are going through a item sorter, and all of the unnecessary stuff, such as the swords, are getting burnt at the end. Yes, you could smelt the swords, but really, this throws out so much gold that you just don't need to. So, let's look at how we're going to build one of these. Now, I'm not going to build the entire structure that you've seen on the other world, but I'm going to show you all of the important bits that you need to know in order to build one of these yourself. So the first thing to bear in mind is that our killing platform for the pigs is going to be 3 wide. Now, the reason we're going to go 3 wide is due to the way we're flushing them in at the top. If you go too wide, they get stuck together at the top and it takes ages. You get lots of mobs being blocked together. If you go 3 wide, it seems to be the optimal size to be able to one-hit everything with sweeping edge. If you go 4 wide, you'll miss mobs when you're trying to kill everything. So 3 wide seems to be the sweet spot. So the first thing to note is that we're going to run the hoppers straight backwards. If you try and run all of the hoppers into each other, you will end up with a bottleneck of items. The items come out far too quickly from the pigs, which means this seems to be the best way to go about it. Now I like to add a dropper here. We'll add another bit of glass here, a bit of glass here, another dropper here, another dropper here, and then run our hoppers into the back of those at the side here. So what this means is we have 3 hoppers at the back. These can all point into one water stream that's going to be coming out of here with the soul sand block there, going up into your water channel. Now once we have our hoppers in place, we can place down some carpets. Now the reason we place down some carpets is because though the items will get pulled through it, the XP can sometimes get stuck inside the hoppers and it causes a little bit of lag. Now, if you add a little bit of carpet onto the top, when the mobs drop down, they are going to drop their items, the items will be pulled into the hopper, but the XP will not go through it, which means they'll sit on the carpet and go zoop. Now what we're going to do is we're going to build a tube that goes up 22 blocks. Now it takes 24 blocks to kill a zombie piglin. I've found that if you use 23, sometimes they still manage to die from falling damage. I'm not sure if that's because they're jumping slightly as they fall into the tube when they come out of the water, or exactly what's causing the problem. So I found that 22 blocks seems to be the sweet spot. Now these back 3 I like to put as obsidian. The reason being that when you're standing here and you're hitting them with sweeping edge, you don't want to be smashing through some glass. But the rest of it I'm going to build out of glass. We're going to go up 22 blocks. So once we've done that, you should have something that looks a bit like this. 22 blocks high, this is where your pigs are going to drop down, and they're going to land on that below. Now one thing to note, sometimes the baby pigs, even though they shouldn't due to this carpet, still manage to get through here. So one thing I like to do, just shove some trapdoors down in this middle 3 section. And that's just going to allow you to stand underneath here, still hit things, but nothing should be able to get through there. Except for those chicken riding zombies, they're a pain in the bottom. So now we're at the top of our drop chute. What we're going to do is we are going to take this as our central point and we're going to go out 2. Now the reason we're going out 2, we're going to break this block soon, but we're going to come back to that. I'm going to do something a little bit funky with the water to make sure that all of the pigs end up in here. So what we're going to do is if we take this as our central point, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to go up 1, go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come back, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to add a 6th one on here, and then we're going to fill in this layer. I'm going to copy that onto the other side, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then back here again, we're going to go add a 6th one, then add that. And then we're going to copy that onto the other side. So once we have that, the next thing we need to do is build some walls. They need to be 2 high at the very least. Now I'm going to use smooth stone for this. You can use glass, The only reason I'm using smooth stone here is just to help you differentiate visually what's the platform and what isn't, because sometimes when you're using glass everything can get a little bit jumbled. Now we've finished with that, you should have a structure that looks a bit like this. Now the great thing about that is this wall here is going to become the foundation for your first portal, and this wall here is going to become the foundation for your platform with the turtle eggs. So the next thing we need is to add some fence gates. I'm going to add them in the middle here. And then open those up. And once we've done that, we're going to come back to our little one wide gap and we're going to add another bit of glass here. And then we're going to enclose this with a wall. Do the same the other side. Whoop, no! And we should have a shape that looks like this. Now we can add in our water streams. So we're going to add one bucket of water there, one bucket of water there, one bucket of water there, and one bucket of water there. And then you'll see that this has created a dead spot here, which is why we're going to put a bucket of water there. Now everything is going to push into there. So now we've got our water streams in place, we are going to build our platform. Now, it doesn't matter how you build this, essentially all you need is 2 turtle eggs on that platform, just to ensure that the piglins are not all trying to walk into one spot, because that can cause blockages, and also that they can see them from anywhere that they spawn on the platform. So, why did I build that? I am bad at Minecraft. So I tend to just shove one down and one down, roughly around there. The next thing you need to do is make sure that this platform is lit, so you're not going to get any other mobs spawning on there. Once you've got that in place, we can start building the farm. So the next thing we need is our row of magma. So again, we're going 21 blocks across, and then we can start building our portals. So this is the tedious part of the build. Now obviously this is going to take up a lot of obsidian, so the real question becomes, where am I going to get all of this obsidian from? The truth of the matter is, it isn't super easy to get it all. This is the sort of farm that you're going to build late game, and quite frankly the best way I found was to build the first 2 layers by mining out some of the end pillars. And once your first layer is built, your first 2 portal setups, one either side of this, you use the gold that you're getting from the piglins to trade for more obsidian. So the farm actually eventually starts to get to the point where it builds itself. Now I will cover a basic piglin bartering setup, but to begin with, most of it is going to look like this. So boring. So what we're going to build here is we're going to build a 23 by 16 square. So now we have that built, we're going to build the walls up, which is we're going to go 22 high. The way I like to do this is build a single pillar of 22, and then I build a single row all the way back. And then you can do the old 3 high block building technique. 2, 3, and then just walk across doing this. Now just as a side note, I'm building this on creative just to show you how to build it quickly, but if you're playing this on your survival world, whilst you're up here on your finished first wall, you may have noticed that you're starting to get things spawning on this platform. It's the ideal spawning location if it's not during the day, so you might want to drop a couple of torches down before you start building the walls. And now we've finished the walls, we're going to just fill in this top layer. So here we are with the first portal section done. Now obviously you can stack these as high as you want. I do believe there is a limit before the mobs start despawning before they even get off the platform because of how far away they are from the player. Theoretically you could also go out to the side if you can work out a good way of channeling the mobs into there. The reason I avoid doing that is because really on an SMP you want to be clearing that mob cap as quickly as possible so you're not messing up other people's farms. So temporarily we're going to build a wall up here so the piglins can't get past, What you want to do with the sides of these sections, that's entirely up to you and however you want to design it. And we're going to build a wall up the other side as well. So now we've done that, we need to put the trapdoors in here. Jump over, and then we're going to add trapdoors the other side as well. Make sure you've opened the trapdoors before you light any portals, otherwise you're going to end up with broken turtle eggs. And then you come to the back of your portals and you just start lighting them. One thing to note, I would recommend that you don't stand on the portal that you're about to light, otherwise you will... that happens. Ooh. Let's try this. And there we go, one section built. Now obviously you could just mirror that design on the other side. And when you want to go higher, use the roof of this one as the base of the next level. I am bad at Minecraft. Now, it should be noted that the spawn rates from just one section is not going to be super quick. Not at all. It's the addition of lots and lots and lots of portals that is going to make this farm perfect for any survival multiplayer world. Now, just as a little addendum, when you are building up the next layers, as I mentioned, you do need large trapdoor walls. Now, I've tried several different ways of building these, and the quickest I have found is crouching on top of one and then just building up like this until you get to the next layer. And then when you've gone all the way up to the top section, which does take a little while, I've gone too high now. All we do is we stand on them and we just... which is really satisfying. Now, I would like to say, between you and me, I did not invent portal farms. No. I don't even know who did. I really wish I could give them credit. All I did was take a couple of existing ideas and mash them into my own concept. Next video, I'm going to show you our gold bartering setup and how all of the items are sent through portals and sorted out into that very fancy skull behind me. I worked on that for a while with Professor Kapaya, who you should check out on twitch.tv/Professor Kapaya. I hope to see you there. Bye!